Two of why I am living with my parents and creating music. So, yeah, growing up, like my mom, she would always be listening to music, and that was the main hub where I was getting all the music I was listening to, and it was straight up just the radio or it was CDs. Like I said, she has this whole thing of just CDs up here. She also had like this little thing. I have one too to hold all your CDs. I actually started doing that, collected these CDs just because I was just like, I love that she's doing it, so I started to do it myself. And I got a variety. Like this one is Brad Paisley. Like there's a country right there that I'm talking about. But yeah, I was always collecting CDs, just listening to different ones. Pretty much hers at the time, but then around 8 years old or 10 years old, I went to my cousin's house in New York, and we were taking the time to just listen to music. I was listening to like Foo Fighters. I was listening to some other R&B stuff. But he was like, "Hey, you want me to burn a CD for you?" And at the time, I was like, 8, 10. I really had no idea what it was about. I just knew about it for other people. And yeah, like he was like, "All right, I'll burn a CD." So I had that CD burned. I still have it to this day. I'm pretty sure it's in here. And yeah, just for like credibility, this is what I would listen to a lot because I was so inspired by like the different types of music that was in like a mixtape. Here's the first one. It says burnt CD, best of you. Oh, American Baby, be yourself, your love. And then my name written on it. Like just in case someone was like, "Hey, I'll take that." But yeah, I was just listening to CDs a lot, and I would wear it when I could. Obviously, I couldn't really wear it all the time growing up because growing up, I was, not allowed to wear it in school. But, in preschool, I didn't have a headset. I wasn't wearing a headset. I was just listening to music when I could with my mom. I didn't have anything else to listen to. Maybe through video games, like I was listening to some things, but not like in a heavy sense. But like I said, my mom was the main hub, like listening in the car music, but also I was listening to a lot of music with my uncle. My uncle is just another music fanatic and just loves listening to music. And anytime I'm like in a car with him, he's always playing some music. If I'm not in a car with him, he's just singing some song that's just catchy to him, and it's just enjoying the music. And that just really made me honestly like appreciate music too, just like how much joy it can bring to somebody when you're just singing just songs in general that make you happy. You know what I mean? You can be having a bad day or a bad time, and all of a sudden you start singing your favorite song, and you're in a way better mood. Music changes your mood for the better, and I think it's overlooked sometimes how powerful it can be. So that's what made me really like it too, just growing up, seeing how much it could affect your mood. So yeah, my uncle, like I remember going on trips. He'd be visiting my great grandma in New York, and I visit my cousins in New York too. And this is another vacation story trip. Like whenever we're driving, and all the songs are just hip hop or R&B. Like I remember really hard listening to Outkast. Never meant to make your daughter cry. I apologize a trillion times. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am for real. Yeah, I was listening to that a lot. And I'm not gonna kid you. For some reason, it would give me like the heebie-jeebies sometimes when I would listen to it, especially when I was driving in New York for some reason. But yeah, that's honestly one of my favorite songs to this day. And Outkast, even then, like if it wasn't for me listening to the music with my uncle or my mom, I wouldn't be as acceptable to the music. I want to be as open to it because it's just like when people say, you know, whenever you're teaching people like at a young age, everyone's generally like a sponge, and people are just absorbing what you're doing. So that's what I was doing. I was absorbing all the music, and I was just taking it all in at that time. So yeah, I mean, even growing up, I would be at my uncle's house. He'd just be playing music randomly, like just through some speakers or whatnot. Anytime going to the take a shower, he had a boombox, just always playing music, and that's just made me more obsessed with music. I was like, all right, music is like a big part of people's lives, and I know it changes them for the better. But yeah, I was obsessed with music. Growing up, I didn't have the opportunity to listen to music all the time in school, especially preschool or whatever. And going into elementary school, I wasn't always able to just like listen to music when I wanted to. You weren't allowed to just turn on headphones. I'm not sure if any elementary school you're allowed to do that, but my elementary school, I was not allowed to do that. And I was going to a private school. I went to private school for 5 years. And throughout those 5 years, there was no way that I was going to be able to play some vulgar or outlandish music that's not about, Catholic Catholic school in the school, you know what I mean? So I was just playing music after school when I could, but I love music so much too. I was just like, I want to have a birthday party. It came to a point where I was like having my first birthday party, or it was my second birthday party in first grade. And I was lucky enough to have a birthday party where it was Elvis themed. And the Elvis themed was just like, it was a sock hop per se. And everyone was dressed up just like it was a sock hop back then. And it really made it for the feeling of what that time era was. Like my mom organized it. It was a big event that I still remember to this day. And my mom's all doing this, and like she's doing all these parties. She's making sure it's playing for me great. But I had girls there, I had guys there, so it was just like a good mixer. She's like one of the best party planners I can remember. Like I had another party too when I turned 11 that we went to, a Burger King that was music themed. It was just like all records on the wall and stuff. So it was even cooler to be, part of that and, have experiences that were correlating to me liking music so much. And this was me not even knowing that I was like wanting to be a musician at the time too, but it was just signs that were just like pushing me forward to be like, yo, you should be making music. And I still wasn't reading those signs. I just was looking at it as like something that just like it was cool for me. I never thought of making a living from music because growing up, like in my time, which sounds like it's funny, but it's like there wasn't like the internet now. There wasn't TikTok, obviously. TikTok is just brand new still. So when I was as a little kid, there was just MTV, VH1. There wasn't even Apple Music or iTunes. So that wasn't until like 2005, 2006, whenever that started being popular. So any music was strictly straight off like VH1s or just, like I said, MTV. But whenever I was listening to songs like that, I'd be so mesmerized by the music videos. I'd be like taken into those music videos, feel like I was the musician. And that made me feel like, hey, I could be doing my own thing too. I could be making music videos that are like my own type of like movie. That's what they felt like to me. I was experiencing a different type of movie in a sense, I felt like, and I was really into it. But yeah, growing up, it was just strictly that. And then whenever my mom would show me music, none of my friends were showing me music in elementary school. So that's one thing too. Growing up in elementary school as a Catholic, I mean, people do listen to that type of music, but generally it wasn't spoken about in school because you were getting in trouble. I had gotten in trouble in school for saying the A word, ASS. I said that on the playground one time, and granted I'm in elementary school, but I had to be taken to encounter, and I had to clean the bathrooms from the language I used. But even with that, it made me realize how much language was important to me. And I was like 8 or 9 when that happened. And still to this day, like I'll use curse words per se, or dirty language, whatever. But it adds to the aesthetic of music, I believe. It can bring out the emotions differently in songs. But back then, that's when I really realized like how powerful words were and how like people could be taking them offensively, but it wasn't even like meant to be taken offensively whenever I was using that word. And that's what made me realize, words are powerful, but it all depends on how I want to say it as a person. And that's what made me realize, it's important to listen to the music that you want to listen to, and that it has a good message behind it, and that you're understanding it. And that's the end of part 2.